My name is Daniela Guzman. I am a formerly incarcerated woman. I was sentenced to 15 years to life. I was a juvenile offender. I guess there's just so much that I feel is like running through my mind right now, and I kind of want to run everything down to everybody. There's just so much that I want to say, and I just don't even know how to get it out. So bear with me here. I guess I could start off with just kind of like running down the story to you guys real fast. My mom told me that she wakes up every morning roughly around 7 to start off her day. Mind you, me and my older brother and my older brother's best friend, who was also like a brother to me, all three of us were incarcerated. We all three were arrested as co-defendants, charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, gang enhancement, and I know that for my mother, that was like losing 3 kids. And after she spent roughly around $50,000 on an attorney, who basically told her there was nothing else that he could do. It was a proven fact in my case that I was not there. However, at trial, I was found guilty of second-degree murder, conspiracy to commit assault, and gang enhancement. I was 17 years old at the time of my crime, and I was sentenced to 15 years to life. I guess what I'm getting at is my mom had told me I was about maybe 5 years or so, a little more than 5 years or so into my life sentence when she came to visit me and told me that she just had this amazing news about how she was going to bring me home. So by then, I told her I was fine. I had no interest in coming home because at a very young age, I convinced myself that I was going to die in prison. I gave up all hope and dream of ever having children, ever establishing a family, anything like that. And it's crazy that I was able to say that to my mother with a smile on my face, because to me it was just better to not to have to hurt over something I've never had. I met Marlene in a visit. She actually came up to Xochtil to visit me while I was serving my life sentence, and she was very excited to meet me. I was excited to meet her just because I like people, not necessarily knowing that this woman was a part of a team of unsung heroes who was working countless hours and many, many, many sleepless nights on trying to get me home. When my mom got up from the visiting table, she went to the bathroom, and I looked over at Marlene and I told her, hey, you know, this sounds good and all, but I'm not worried about coming home. You know, I came in really young. I came in with a different mentality. I wasn't raised in a specific type of neighborhood, really good upbringing, really family-oriented, you know, type of upbringing. So I really wasn't worried about anything. By then, the system had already turned me into basically, you know, I became a product of my environment, and I was fine with it. And so again, back to what I was saying about my mom waking up every morning, her starting off her day. She said that one night she couldn't sleep. So she woke up about maybe like 5 minutes earlier or so, turned on the TV, and there she saw on the news a nonprofit organization, kind of like a commercial on the news of an organization called DEBA out of San Jose. And of course, my mother, she's Spanish speaking primarily. My incarceration and my brother's incarceration has forced her to become more independent and have to reach out for more, because by then my appeals have been exhausted. My attorney has told her there is no hope. There is hope, however, it will have to be in a Board of Parole hearings room, where in 10 years they might tell me, come back in 10 years. You haven't done enough. You haven't fully rehabilitated yourself. You don't have enough remorse. You don't have enough insight. We just don't believe you're really rehabilitated. And my mom was not willing to give the system any more of my years, no matter how much I had already given up on myself. So she had ended up getting a hold of DBUG. DBUG had let her know that they have, I guess it's like their sister group. Their sister group is CURYJ. They had gotten a hold of CURYJ for her and told her, hey, you know, call CURYJ and they can help you out of Alameda County, since that's where she was arrested and that's where the whole situation was being dealt with and everything. So my mom had ended up calling CURYJ, and it just so happens that I'm not sure if the person who had actually answered the phone or not, but I believe it was he the one that answered the phone? Yeah.
Yeah, and you and Ben were in the program together. One of
our
co-founders.
Yeah, you know, I don't believe in coincidences. You know, I just don't think they're real. So it just so happens that about 10 weeks or so before my arrest, I was a part of a cohort, and I became very, very good friends with a young man named Ruben Leal. And we had ended up becoming really good friends, and he was actually the one that answered the phone for my mom's phone call. And he told her, he told her, I know exactly who your daughter is. She's my friend. And I want to do anything I can to help her come home.
All right.
And Ruben actually went with Marlene, and they went and they did the footwork as far as at Xochtil, where they recorded, and he actually almost got arrested because he went all the way into the premise. I don't know if you've gone to a prison, you can't really be having a phone or a camera or anything recording things, people, and so he almost got arrested just going up there and recording, because participatory defense is really what saved my life. Participatory defense, it goes unpaid. I remember when my attorney called me when I first got out. He's all, hey, how are you? Because he gets the shine. Right. Don't get me wrong, I love him to death. My mom may not feel the same way, but I love him to death. Him and I built a relationship throughout the years. And whether it's a love-hate relationship, whatever it may be, I built a relationship with my attorney. And of course, because those weren't my $50,000. So I understand why my mother might feel some type of way. But the way I look at it also is that he told me, because he got a lot of publicity, because today I am the first female in the state of California to be released on the felony murder law, SB 1437. So when he called me and said, hey, how are you? How's life? How do you like it? How is life treating you? And I said, I think I need a percentage off of every client you get now from now on. And he said, how about consider your payment being your freedom? And I was just like, oh, okay, you know what? You got jokes. But, you know, people don't really see the, you know, they see the arrest, the trial, the struggle, the appeals, the denials, and just basically everything that goes in between it. But people don't see why these nonprofit organizations, not only are they they're underpaid, they're not as appreciated as I feel like they should be, because it doesn't matter how much I could win the lottery today and it still is not enough for me to give back to CURYJ, to Debug, to Sister Warriors, to everybody else that, I mean, it's countless people. And time, you know, there's nothing worse than wasted time.
That's right.
And I feel like 6 years in prison for someone who was not even there is just something that, I'm not trying to minimize anything. All I'm trying to say is that this could happen to anybody. And I'm just happy that I didn't come out with an addiction. I lost a lot of friends in there. I lost a lot of people who lost themselves. And, you know, had I not had the support, had I not had the mother and father and family, and had I not have had, I just want to also mention too the people who end up being incarcerated coming out and fighting for us. Rosie Santiago,
Rosie!
When I first got out and when I first saw her, for her to sit there and let me know that it was okay, that there were going to be days that I was going to feel like I was going to go crazy. Right. Because to sit there and have a judge in a full packed courtroom as I'm sitting there in shackles, and to hear a judge say, the same judge that sentenced me to life is the same judge that granted my immediate release. I don't believe in coincidences. Two completely different cities, completely different courtrooms. As soon as I saw my appeal and to see that that judge was the same judge handling my case, I said, oh, I'm never going home. There were many fights, many arguments that I had with my mother because she was so hopeful. And by then, I had been so hopeless. Because hoping hurt too much. And I realize now that, you know, hoping is all I ever had. And I gave it to them.
Thank you, Daniela. Give it up for her, please.